This is Seawolves. Storm or not.
Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Seawolves, Storm or Not. I'm Christine Kelly.
And I'm John Neary.
Our top story this morning takes us 4,600 miles away to Moscow. Chinese President Xi Jinping is at the Kremlin. He's visiting his comrade Vladimir Putin, and their talks could determine the future of the war in Ukraine. Beijing is calling for a ceasefire in Ukraine, which would benefit Putin, who has the International Criminal Court breathing down his neck. China just mediated the end of a 7-year standoff between Iran and Saudi Arabia, so in more ways than one, the country is on top of the world. Xi is looking to advance China's role in the world, and limiting the carnage in Ukraine would certainly be one way to do that.
Whether or not China ends the war, let's hope it ends quickly. Moving back home, let's go with Missy Jones with the one-day forecast. Missy?
Thanks, John. I'm standing out here by the fountain, which will hopefully be turned on soon. Today it is clear skies, a nice sunny day out, but don't let the sun fool you. Still a bit chilly. We have a high of 44, a low of 33, and 12-mile-per-hour winds coming from the southwest. In more exciting news, today is the vernal equinox, which, if your Latin is a bit rusty like mine, means it's the first day of spring, and day and night are equal starting at 5:30 p.m. tonight. To learn more about the vernal equinox than I could ever tell you, stay tuned for the 7-day forecast with Skylar Day Harmon. Back to you guys at the desk.
Great job.
Thanks, Missy. We're finally coming out of winter, but we haven't quite left the cold behind. Daniela Rodriguez just found a great spot 15 minutes away for a great night out. Daniela?
Winters on Long Island usually means thinking of different ways to stay warm but to still have a good time. And even though we're facing an unusually warm winter, there's still so many fun things to do indoors close to campus. When you first walk in, you may feel like you're going back in time, but this is the New York Axe Range.
It's a digital format, so when you're throwing axes, you're not just throwing at a traditional target, but as you can see behind us, there's you can throw at a dartboard, you can throw at a tic-tac-toe board, Connect Four, there's about 10 different games overall. So you're using real wood, real axes, but digital format.
Before all of that fun begins, safety's first.
Your group will go into a training room where they'll learn the basics on safety, how to hold the axe, how to throw the axe.
And now the axe throwing begins. You have between 60 and 90 minutes of endless fun playing different games with your small or large group of friends. And in between all of that axe throwing, you may get a little hungry or even a little thirsty. Well, make your way over to the bar.
It was a nice addition. Our Farmingdale location does not have a bar, so we decided to put one here. Beer, wine, liquor. If you look at the reviews, there's well over 1,000 reviews, and they're all pretty similar. They love our staff, friendly, helpful. It's a great environment. You come in on a Friday, Saturday night, the music's pumping, the lights are down. It's kind of like a little bit of a nightclub feel as you're throwing axes.
Reporting for Seawolves, Storm or Not, I'm Daniela Rodriguez.
Wow, that was very exciting. It definitely looks like something I'd be interested in trying. What about you, Christine?
Well, I've never thrown an axe, John, but back in the day, I was a pretty good archer. I even competed in an archery competition in Pennsylvania. Certainly, I was better with a bow than with a rifle, but I think I'm better with a rifle than I'd be with an axe.
That's impressive. I remember the first time I went shooting. It was on a sunny day with my mother. Speaking of the weather, let's go to the 7-day forecast. Skylar?
Thank you so much. The vernal equinox is also known as the spring equinox, and it's happening tonight at 5:24 p.m. Eastern Time. At this time, the northern and southern hemispheres receive the same amount and intensity of sunlight. This is due to the tilt of the Earth on its axis and the revolution of the Earth around the sun. You might think that the amount of daylight and nighttime is the same because equinox means equal, but that's actually not true anymore. This is due to the weirdness of our calendar, the complicated way that sunrise and sunsets are measured, and the way that light bends in our atmosphere. So there's a little extra daylight today to celebrate the first day of spring in the northern hemisphere. Weather-wise, our week is looking a lot more spring-like. You can see behind me that Port Jefferson Harbor is looking lovely today, courtesy of EarthCam. Monday, we already talked about our weather, a high of 44 degrees with a low of 33. Nice sunny day today and tomorrow, Tuesday, with a high of 52 degrees and a low of 39. Wednesday, we're looking at a high of 53 degrees and a low of 43, courtesy of a warm front that's going to be working its way through later. There's a small chance of precipitation in the evening Wednesday night, but it's looking like a mostly dry day overall. Now, that warm front's going to be causing the rest of our school week to be kind of unpleasant. Rain Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Thursday, our warmest day of the week with a high of 56 and a low of 44. Once we get through the rainy end of the week, Sunday, we have sunshine returning with a high of 52 degrees and a low of 38. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Skylar. I can't wait for the weather to warm up around here. And speaking of warming up, we're getting ready for sports now. So let's cut to the chase. Chase Carucci with the scoop.
Christine, opening day is just 10 days away, which means that the World Baseball Classic is almost over and Team USA is plowing its way toward the WBC final. This past weekend, America's boys defeated Venezuela 9-7 after an 8th-inning rally capped off by a Trey Turner grand slam. The United States went on to play Team Cuba on Sunday, where they absolutely demolished them 14-2, and Turner led the charge with another 2 home runs, earning the USA a dance in the World Baseball Classic final. Tonight, Japan and Mexico will face off in Miami at 7 p.m. to determine who will face Uncle Sam and USA on Tuesday. Jets fans, take flight. In league-altering news, future Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers spoke on the Pat McAfee Show on Wednesday, announcing that his intention is to play for the New York Jets next season. Given that the Jets have had some of the worst quarterback play in the entire NFL last season, and since before I was even born, it's safe to assume the feeling is mutual and that the Jets will make a strong push for Rodgers. At the moment, the only thing holding up a potential trade is compensation that the Packers are asking for. It's unclear when the trade will actually take place, but league insiders expect a deal to get done to send the Hall of Famer to East Rutherford. March Madness has been, well, for lack of a better term, mad, as Fairleigh Dickinson pulled off the biggest upset in NCAA tournament history, taking down Purdue. As one of my classmates put it, who is FDU? Well, it's a little private school just across the George Washington Bridge. It's just the second time in tournament history that a number 16 seed has beaten a number 1 seed. Top seeds are now 150-2 all-time with Purdue's loss. Even though the Knights lost yesterday to FAU, FDU is forever cemented into the history books. Now you know where Fairleigh Dickinson is. That's all we have for a busy sports week. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Chase. Well, Christine, we can see that there's plenty to look forward to the second half of the semester. I don't know if you're a music fan, but people are scrambling to get tickets to see Taylor Swift or Drake on tour.
Oh, I love music. I just saw my favorite country singer, Margot Price, in Manhattan. And later this week, I'm headed back to the city to see Ezra Furman, another great artist. But for big headlining artists like Taylor or Drake, is there a way to easily get tickets?
As far as I can see, it's all a blur.
And well, Seawolves, that's all from us this week. This has been Seawolves, Storm or Not. Thank you for watching.
This is Seawolves, Storm or Not.